More than 80 fires are burning across the state, stretching from Newcastle
Look at this,
to
guys.
the Southern Highlands and into the Blue Mountains. Huge areas have been blanketed in a thick cloud of smoke, including Sydney's CBD. Fire crews have been stretched to the limit.
This is just the beginning.
Of people are in
this
community
fire,
shelters, many
Australia,
not knowing the whereabouts of family
is going to
and
burn
friends.
for
New
weeks.
South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell
95
says it will be a miracle
fires today.
the state gets through it at all with no loss of life. Tonight we'll take you to our reporters on the ground. We'll have updates in the studio throughout the next hour, and we'll bring you fresh warnings from the Rural Fire Service. But first, let's take you through the latest. There are currently 6 emergency warnings in place across New South Wales. Working from north to south, we have fires at Hungerford Creek in the Muswellbrook area,
No, that's what I call a fire.
in Heatherbrae north of Newcastle in the Port Stephens area,
Wow.
Ruckley's Road in North Doyleson in the Wyong area.
I mean, how do you get fires starting in all those different places? I mean, look at that.
In the Blue Mountains,
That's
and Hancock's
crazy.
Creek Road fire at
Crazy stuff.
in the Shoalhaven area.
As I was mentioning,
Let's get a bit more detail on those fires where the emergency warnings are in place. The fire at Hungerford Creek, Muswellbrook, has burnt more than 2,000 hectares of bushland and continues to be out of control. The fire at Hank Street, Heatherbrae, has been upgraded to an emergency warning. It's confirmed that the fire has crossed Richardson Road and is heading towards Meadowy. A fire burning in the Ruckley's Road area at Doyleson North has ignited a large fuel storage area on
and this has been happening yesterday. 70 cars in a car park blew up from the radiant heat.
That's between Lithgow and Bilpin.
And that was in a town,
hectares of
not in the bush.
have been lost. Emergency alert telephone messages have been issued to residents in the Springwood, Winmalee, Yellow Rock, Mount Riverview and Emu Heights area. And an emergency warning is in place for a fire in the Wandandyan area of Shoalhaven. Our reporter Ben Worsley is in Springwood in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney.
Hi Jane, there's still a massive firefighting operation going on here. And
90 blazes, 95.
Anxiety and uncertainty.
That's a lot of fires, mate.
What's going
anyway,
on.
it's going to go for weeks.
Houses. We don't know the precise number, but it's in the dozens.
Try a few hundred.
Have been lost here. No reports of loss of life or injuries yet.
Yeah, altogether a few hundred houses. That means 5, 6.
During the night, as more information comes to light, and the firefighters
so far
are on top of this. At the moment, they're not on top of this. It's still out of control. It's still fast.
All the
moving.
schools are in
large,
lockdown. People can't get to their homes. Streets are shut.
Concern, it seems to have jumped the Nepean River and is heading towards more populated areas.
Yeah, it doesn't need a visa.
Cranebrook, Castlereagh. So that's obviously
fires
something to
don't,
watch
respect state borders. Don't need a visa.
It's chilly here, as Graham Creed was just saying. This change has come through, and it's actually quite cold, but the wind is still strong, and it's very fickle. It's moving around. You might think a change in direction might help, but it could actually hinder a firefighting effort. The side of the fire can be wide.
Anything can happen, mate. They're crazy, these bushfires.
So those are the things that are being dealt with.
Don't forget, this is the bush, the Australian bush.
Long night here, Jane, in Springwood.
Oh, yeah.
Ben,
try a few
in
weeks,
terms
mate.
of people who are seeking shelter, what numbers are not actually able to get back to their homes tonight?
Well, if you see behind me, you can probably see a line of cars. That's an indication of how many people aren't going to be getting home. That stretch of cars runs all the way from the Great Western Highway, a couple of kilometres back, all the way down to Linksview Road.
Yeah, people can't get to their homes, man.
And those people have been there for hours.
Yeah, all day.
Trying to get
and they'll be there for a few more days.
Sorry, but yes. Their neighbours, their relatives,
it's shocking,
their friends,
man. It's an emergency. It's fucking
they're not being allowed
ridiculous.
to do that, but they're still there, and that scene is being repeated.
Well, where are they going to go?
Which is all around Springwood.
Thousands of people. I mean,
where we're standing.
Hundreds of houses have burned down. So imagine how many people are trying to get
there, because in
out
these sort of situations, people tend to go and stay with friends and relatives.
Don't forget this was southern today.
At the Springwood Sports Club. Now that place, that's where all the children, the school children, down in 3 or 4 schools, have finally been returned to and met up with their parents. There were one school was evacuated and 3 schools were completely locked down in this fire zone. In fact, one of them, part of their playground, got burnt. So just imagine how terrifying that potentially could have been, and imagine how anxious these parents were waiting for news and waiting to catch up with their children after an incredibly long day. And that only happened in the last hour or so, that these very emotional reunions were taking place. Just down here, there were a couple of schoolgirls crying very heartily in their arms of what looked like their grandmother not long ago. So there is some relief for some people, but a lot of uncertainty and anxiety for others.
And Ben, before I let you go this evening, what proportion of people know actually what's happened to their homes?
Not many.
Oh, look, it is hard to tell. What's interesting about this firefighting operation, the perimeter is being controlled by the police, not the rural fire service, and I gather that's something to do with the amount of RFS workers working all around the state, but also the proximity to Sydney. The amount of police controlling here is extraordinary. So it is hard
the riot
to get
squad's
access
there.
and information for those reasons.
Something else is going on, of
down this road earlier tonight, there were 50 or 60 people just standing on the corner of the road trying to see their house, see their neighbour's house, trying to get through and find out what was going on. None of them knew what was going on, and some of them were throwing their hands up in the air in frustration. And so
the riot squad was there. Can you believe it? To stop people going to home. I thought they were there to help put out the fires. No, they were there to stop the people from getting to their homes.
And let's cross to Lexi Metherell now, who's at RFS headquarters. Lexi, we've heard about the Blue Mountains. What other areas are under threat tonight?
Well, Jane,
over 12,000 hectares of bushland have burnt.
In a very serious situation right now.
And that's, don't forget, this is going to go on not only tomorrow, for a few weeks. That's the Australian Aussie bushfires.
Shoalhaven, though, on the south coast,
I reckon it's worse than the 94, worse than the 2001, I think.
There has been downgraded, and I believe that one
bushfires,
lane of the Hume Highway has now reopened.
Lexi, how many RFS crews are working throughout the night?
Well, Jane, today there have been in the order of 2,000 plus firefighters on the ground. I think that number will
the media trying to make us feel good. Reunited with their children.
Fire trucks and appliances handling this fire. Tonight it is a mammoth job across the state, and in fact the authorities here are considering
look at that. That's the Aussie bush burner.
Of help.
See, they can't even, look at that, little fireman, you know. He looked tiny, didn't he? Wow. Yeah, what's a little bit of water going to do? It looks ridiculous, doesn't it?
Tomorrow, but on Sunday and Monday, conditions are expected to worsen again.
Did you hear that? It's going to worsen.
These fires aren't going to take days to put out. It's going to be weeks and perhaps months of trying to get these fires fully stamped down.
Did you hear it all? Months. That's crops gone again. Look out, Africa. Price of rice, the price of corn, the price of wheat, the price of sugar, will double again.
The most up-to-date advice for each particular area is available on the RFS website. I understand that website
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, am I?
Today. And of course, with power out across the state, it is also difficult to access. Authorities have been sending text messages out to people in affected areas about what they should do.
Why they were starving.
Evacuation areas, centres are open tonight, and I'm sure many people.
Did you hear that, guys? Months of fire, months to get this under control. Over hundreds of properties. She doesn't know.
The officials here are really warning the state to brace for the worst. So
they don't say that for nothing.
People who are going to be dealing with a really devastating situation.
The papers don't know. The media doesn't know.
Front moving into some areas of the state at the moment. What are predictions for the bushfire situation tomorrow?
Well, yes, the front has changed earlier with the wind heading in a southeasterly direction. The fire was heading that direction.
I'm going to give that a wrap, but that's the bushfires
because that side flank
in Australia.
Is now the front, so it's heading in a more northerly direction. Now, the conditions